Hi viewers, welcome back. We are going to look at the 40 days of the funeral rites of Raila Odinga. It is 40 days from the burial date, not from the day he died, but it is from the burial date. Why 40 days and not more? Why 40 days and not less? My opinion is that 40 days is a pure coincidence. Among the Luo, etc., once one has been buried, there were around for 40 days of mourning from the day of the burial, because the funeral had to stop at some point, and people had to go back to their normal period. Among the Kikuyu, my mother's tribe, immediately one is buried, all ceremonies end, except, of course, on the first anniversary or something like that, where there is a memorial service and laying of the cross or something like that. But among the Kikuyu, immediately somebody is buried. The following day, it is only that you'll see the fresh grave to know that he was buried yesterday or something. So immediately they bury. 2 to 3 hours later, people have gone. But among the Luos, Luhya, and other tribes, especially West, yeah, even coastal, I attended a few funerals in, there is a lot of similarities in Mijikenda with those people in the western area. This is the historical connotation of why it is 40 days after the burial. We have to look at it at least 3 dimensions. We have to look at it at least 3 dimensions. We have to look at it from the Kikuyu Masai Kalenjin dimension. Kikuyu Masai Kalenjin dimension. We have to look at it from Luo Luhya Mijikenda or something like that perspective. And we have to look at it from a religious aspect. By religious aspect, I mean Christian aspect. Kikuyu, Kalenjin, Masais, and etc., they never buried their dead. What used to happen was that a dead person or a person terminally ill used to be left in the forest to be eaten by wild animals. His or her leg would be tied with a long rope, which used to be pulled to confirm that he or she is still alive. You pull it a bit. If he or she responds, then you know that he or she is still alive. Then you leave food there and go. He or she will crawl and come and get the food and eat and go back. When it reaches a time you pull and you don't see the response, you conclude he's dead or she's dead, so you don't take food then. And that is how Kikuyus used to dispose their dead people. So traditionally, Kikuyus did not bury dead people. We will jump the Luo rites and go to the religious rites straight away. We'll jump the Luo Mijikenda type of funeral and then go first of all to the religious, which is Christian. Many of the Christian narratives in the Bible, one may notice that whenever the Bible talks about a short period, whenever the Bible used to talk of a short period or a few things, it talked of 7. And when it wanted to talk about a long period or a lot of things, it used to use the word 40. That is why Jesus fasted for 40 days and 40 nights. It means that Jesus fasted for a very long time. Israelites traveled from Egypt to Canaan for 40 years. That means they traveled for very many years. Can we change that and say that Jesus fasted for many days and Israelites traveled for many years? On the other hand, the Almighty built the world and the universe in a very, very few days. That is why we are told he built heaven and earth in 7 days. I will concentrate more on the Luhya tradition than the Luo tradition, because not only was my father a Luhya, but I also know more of the Luhya traditions than the Luo traditions, although the differences is very, very little. But those in the know will agree with me that the funeral rites of the two, that is the Luo and Luhya, are almost the same. There is very, very little difference among the two. Today's burial is 6 feet. Today's burial universally is in Kenya at least it is and but in cemeteries that is not applicable. Stories are cemetery is so long that I'll not talk about it, because in the cemetery we have very many different what do you call graves. We have shallow grave, we have permanent grave. That is a long story that may require an episode of its own. But in any other place, it is agreed universally that what do you call the graves are usually 6 feet deep. But do we really need 6 feet? In some areas, they bury up to 8 feet. That is even outside Kenya. And others bury shallow. That is outside Kenya. In Kenya, I think medical people just agreed that it should be 6. In some areas, even 6 feet is considered very deep. Let me say this. Burying people should go case by case. Should go case by case. I think scientists should look at the what do you call sand formation in a place where they are making the grave, because in some places decomposing is hard in 6 feet, because oxygen can take long to reach the depth. Oxygen can take long to reach the depth. On the other hand, a shallow grave is also dangerous. A shallow grave is dangerous because when the body is decomposing, it would cause foul smell, and it can contaminate the air and the area. I think that they settled for 6 feet, which is not shallow, neither is it deep. But when burying somebody, we should, okay, we have this modern thing of cementing and whatever, such things. But I believe ways should be found whereby a body should decompose as quickly as possible. So if you go deep, you may have it may be a bit hard for decomposing because oxygen cannot reach there. Remember, oxygen plays a big part in body decomposing. The people I've talked about, the Mijikendas, the Luhya, the Luos, whatever. used to be buried in shallow grave. Wild animal would come at night and take away the corpse. So the people used to keep vigil for about 40 nights so as to scare away the animals. Now, for those of you, especially the Bontown Luhyas and Luos, you may be wondering why is it that once somebody has been buried, Luhyas spend the night out of the door with firewood for 40 days. The graves used to be shallow, and the people men used to light fire there for 40 days so as to keep away the wild animal from digging up the dead. Those who have done camping will tell you that wild animals fear fire. Wild animals fear fire. So that is why in camping and even in such funeral rites, they light fire there. You may alternate it with using floodlights from, let's say, charged bulbs or something. But I want to believe that it is possible that the animals may not fear the floodlights or anything, but they can differentiate electric light and firewood, and they really, any animal, they can never go near firewood. That is why for the 40 years and 40 nights, fire has to be lit and people keep vigil next to the grave. The fire would be put off in the morning to save fuel, to save the firewood also. And also, wild animals never visited homes during the day. They do happen. Yeah, we have cases where wild animals come and do harm or damage in homes during daytime, even at noon. But it is much, much more rare. They prefer coming at night in the dark. And yes, they are scared of light, but they are scared more of firelight than just any light. Wild animal kept off the homes at night for the 40 nights because they feared the fire. They also feared the men who were guarding the house. You see, when the men were guarding the house, they were ready for those people, and that is why men were issued to be out to protect that place. So after 40 days and 40 nights, the body would be so much decomposed that the wild animals would not be interested in it. Itakuwa so rotten. People don't like the word rotten. It would be the body would be so rotten that the wild animals would not want it, and that is why it is that period of around 40 days. As for RAILA's case and any other case, you still can visit the home and pay homage, but the official mourning time is said is about 40 days. It's about 40 days. After the 40th day, the official will end, but that does not stop you from going to pay homage to the grave and the home. During the actual burial, the crowds and the emotions are too high or too much. So, yes, you attended the funeral, you attended the burial, but people are so many, the emotions were so many. Imagine talking to the widow that day. She's still so confused and whatever, to an extent that you may meet and she may not even recall you having visited her, having been there during the burial. So it is advisable to organize for a day when things are a bit cooler for a personalized homage. Preferably within the 40 days. Preferably within the 40 days, because even the immediate family who work elsewhere, maybe they have taken a leave for that. Now, when you come after 2 to 3 months, you may find other members of the family have gone back to their normal life and whatever. So even during those 40 days, it is advisable now that you can visit the family and now pay one-on-one homage. I want to say that this idea of burying the person immediately and then within the 40 days, now people can come for their personalized condolence. I think that is the best. I think my family should do that when my time comes. And in brief, that is what we wanted to talk about today. Wanted to talk about the significance of the 40 days ceremony after burial and what it entails. Thank you and God bless you.